ZTE presents here on the IFA in Berlin, well, let's say 2.5 new phones. Because the first one is the V8 64GB edition. Remember, Blade V8 already on the market. This one now, like the name is telling you, already has now 64 instead of 32GB internal memory, expandable, and 4 instead of 3GB of RAM of working memory. And a little bit different design. Unfortunately, they don't have a V8 here, so I can't show you. But remember, that was also a little bit like that. But now here you have gold. This once again is aluminum, kind of unibody up to these points. The lower and the upper end are plastic because you know the antenna signals have to go through somewhere. But very classy and a very good grip to the fingers. Love that very much. The V8 64GB is $299 instead of $270. Like always, prices in euro of Germany, Europe, including 19% tax, but may vary, of course, depending on your country. That's the V8 64GB edition, available in September, so means these days. Really new is the V8 Mini, like that one. You see the same design, kind of. You also have that dual cam on the back side, again with 13 and 2 megapixels, because the 2 megapixels camera is doing these 3D effects like bokeh and so on, but the 13 megapixels is the main camera. On the front, you have here, that's 13 megapixels on the V8 and V8 64GB edition. This one here, 13 megapixels. Now on the Mini, V8 Mini, you have 5 megapixels only. So for selfie fans, I'd say the basic V8 and V8 Plus edition here is to be preferred. You have a different, on the Mini here, you have a different processor. It's Qualcomm MSN 8940 instead of Snapdragon 435, but 8 cores, 1.4, 1.1 gigahertz. But we have 2 instead of 3, and on that edition here, even 4GB of RAM of working memory and 16GB. Expandable, of course, internal memory instead of 32 and 64, remember. So, and here difference also is you have the fingerprint sensor on the back side, while you have it on the basic one on the front here. But nevertheless, I prefer on the back side. You might know this already, because here you also have your hand. It's resting great in your palm, very natural like that way. And I do not like it here because you can drop your phone, but I know lots of you love it on the front, so don't want to talk bad about it, but just my personal opinion here. I find that absolutely okay, and I even prefer on the back side. But nevertheless, let's go on, because here that's the new Blade A6, and here's the story: is you have 5,000 milliamps, can't believe it, 5,000 milliamps instead of 2080 and 2730 milliamps. So this one is huge. Even as heavy users, you will come through the day, and as regular user, let's say 2 days at least, maybe even 3, so no problem at all. But on the other hand, you have 5.2-inch display, 720. That's a 5-inch display, 720. And on the regular ones, you have 5.2-inch with 1080p. Plus, you have a other panel technology. I do not know which one, but I guess it's just not IPS, regular TFT, because see that it's not very viewing angle stability is not so good here on these two, like that one here. But see here on the basic V8, you can turn it. Okay, you see slight changes of colors and contrast, but you can still live with that, I would say. That's okay. And here you really see they are trying to save money on these two here, so you have to be aware of that. Here it's a single camera, 13 megapixels, like on this one also, but not the additional 2 megapixels camera, meaning you don't have these bokeh effects. If you need them, I find that totally okay. On the front, you have 8 megapixels. Remember, that one was 13 and 5, so it's kind of mid-class here. And you have the same processor like in the V8 Mini, that MSM from Qualcomm 8940. Here you have 3 GB of RAM, working memory, and 32 GB internal, like always, expandable memory, fingerprint on the back side. This is Android 7.1, the others have 7.0, at least at the moment. This one will come in the last quarter of that year, Q4, costing 199 euros. September 179, that's the mini, and September that's 299, the V8 64 GB edition. Well, that's the news from the ZTE booth here in Berlin from the IFA. Thanks for watching, take care and bye.